This is how queer refugees celebrate Pride in Kenya.
It reminds us that refugees are still people and they can still celebrate.
For decades, the country has been seen as a safe haven for queer people in East Africa, but now something is changing.
We are totally against this LGBTQ agenda.
So, what is causing this? And can Kenya withstand a new and powerful LGBTQ plus backlash? We're on our way to a shelter for queer asylum seekers run by Team No Sleep, a refugee-led NGO.
This is the Team No Sleep shelter.
This is Ronnie, who works for Team No Sleep and runs a small catering business on the side. He arrived in Nairobi in 2018 after fleeing Uganda, where gay relations have been criminalized since the British colonial era. In 2023, an even harsher law was passed, including the death penalty.
This is our kitchen. You can come.
Ronnie is one of more than 1,000 LGBTQ+ refugees living in Kenya, although those numbers are likely higher now due to harsher laws across East Africa.
I came from Uganda when I don't know the word LGBTIQ. I just learned it in Kenya.
Back in Uganda, Ronnie feared coming out as bisexual, but in Kenya, he's become well known in the queer refugee community for his cooking.
Of course, the way to someone's heart sometimes is through the stomach. I had a best friend called Hudson. He exposed me to the community, took me to several safe houses. I started cooking for them. I'm still known because of the cooking, and the community always shows me love. This is our sitting area or entertainment area. There's supposed to be a TV somewhere, but maybe we are manifesting for one. So this is the girls' room. I will not access it because it's the girls' room.
There are a dozen or so discrete shelters like this across the city.
One of the rooms.
This one hosts up to 15 refugees. Those who run these shelters find creative ways to fund them.
This is one of our livelihood projects. This is our chicken project.
They breed chickens in this coop next to the shelter and sell poultry at local markets. Brody is not able to get a legal job in a hotel kitchen because he cannot get a work permit. Despite living here for 6 years, his application for asylum still hasn't been processed.
We've gone through a lot. The government has continued just to exclude us. Waiting for that long has made me lose hope, for real. No one can be strong for 6 years.
To make things worse for asylum seekers like Ronnie, there's been growing backlash against queer rights in Kenya.
Male same-sex relations are illegal here in Kenya and punishable with up to 14 years in prison.
Even though this is rarely enforced, the law was upheld by Kenya's High Court in 2019. Fierce protests followed a Supreme Court ruling in 2023 that reaffirmed the right of LGBTQ+ NGOs to operate.
Conservative Kenyan politicians and religious leaders say LGBTQ+ rights are a Western import and a new form of colonialism.
Opposition MP Peter Kaluma introduced a Uganda-style bill further criminalizing queer Kenyans, which other MPs support.
Even if I'll be in the hospital under ICU, I'll ask them to take me to vote for that thing, to kick them out, to kick LGBTQ out of Kenya completely.
Activists do not expect this bill will pass, but it reflects growing anti-LGBTQ+ sentiment across East Africa and beyond. In Nairobi, we met a group of activists from different parts of the country.
They're saying that, you people to not the South to go to school. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? You're gonna influence our children to be LGBTI. What are you trying to say? Can we debunk what your issues really are?
At times, I think you forget that, I live in Kenya because of the things that we've been able to do, the things we've been able to achieve within Kenya. But there is still the overhanging shadow of discrimination if you're too out, if you're too open. Sometimes people are denied housing, people are denied access to health services, access to employment.
For queer asylum seekers, the changing tides have also had tangible consequences. The government says the average wait time to process applications is 12 months. But many LGBTQ+ asylum seekers have reported waiting years for a decision on their applications. The UNHCR backs this claim. The Kenyan government did not respond to a request for comment. But off-camera, the country's refugee commissioner, John Burugu, previously told Context that persecution based on one's sexual orientation or gender identity is not grounds for asylum. The government is still clearing a backlog of applications that stalled during COVID. 219,000 refugees are waiting for asylum in Kenya. Most are stuck in one of these two camps, Kakuma and Dadaab. That's exactly what happened to Kevin. This 25-year-old trans man left Uganda after escaping a forced marriage. He ended up spending 4 years at the Kakuma refugee camp.
People have trauma from Kakuma. We've lost so many lives. People have run mad of the situation that we go through, the situation that we went through.
He experienced repeated targeting, being robbed, seeing his friends beaten, and having his tent set on fire. Kevin isn't the only one. In 2020, Reuters reported that a group of about 300 LGBTQ+ asylum seekers said they were targeted by arson and assault because of their sexuality.
So we had to run for our lives. We came in Nairobi, and we are living in hiding in Nairobi.
NGOs have stepped in to support queer asylum seekers in this legal limbo.
Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Thanks a lot. Welcome to Oram.
Oram has trained hundreds with skills they can use to start small businesses to sustain themselves.
The situation has been protracted for a long time, and therefore durable solutions have not been forthcoming. Financial assistance is not sustainable, and therefore we need solutions for individuals to make use of their own skills, to make use of their capacity to be able to generate income.
For Kevin, that meant starting a barber shop.
I got a chance of starting my own business. Yes, I have a business partner. She's a Kenyan. But the fact that I know they are homophobic, some of them, I decided to keep a low profile so they don't know who I am. If you're not working, you get much time to think about so many things. But when you're busy with work, you forget about the rest, because Kakuma is really so traumatizing.
According to refugee surveying NGOs, the number of arrivals has increased since Uganda passed its anti-LGBTQ+ law in 2023.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Emalia was one of them.
Please, let's come in.
She had been engaged in trans activism for a decade, but 4 months after the law was passed, a violent crowd showed up at her home.
I was undressed, I was beaten, I was going to be burnt alive.
Emalia expected life to be freer in Kenya, but instead, she cannot do the work that fuels her.
Some of my dreams are being shattered. When it comes to advocating for the transgender person, which is my #1 goal, I can't do it here because I'm a refugee.
Despite the heightened risks as an asylum seeker, as an activist, Emalia says she wants to stay in Kenya. But as a trans woman, she feels differently.
I don't want to live in Kenya. As Emalia, I don't want. I want to live somewhere where I'm free, I can do whatever I want. I want to do fully transitioning, I want to go under surgery.
But Emalia still has hope for her future and for the future of LGBTQ+ rights across Africa.
LGBT persons are really smart people, and when it comes to governance and to power, we have the capacity and the capability to force change. We have to advocate. We have to let people know that we exist, and we need to be recognized.
Hi, thanks for watching. If you want to see more work like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.